Yeah, but I made it, and I must say, because I always say to people, it's not always something that I can say to people. No, it's, you know what, everything is gonna be fine, even if it takes you 9 years. It's not an easy 9 years. Number one, and then number two, it requires so much discipline from you. Because during the 9 years, that's when you see your peers, they are graduating, some they are getting married, they are buying cars, they are buying houses. You are still in the same journey of obtaining the degree that you registered with them at the same time.
I think it's the word black tax. I mean, I'm against the word
And
black
some people
tax.
don't love it, yeah.
Because it's not like our parent had trust, had generational wealth.
Exactly.
So
opportunities,
when they were taking us to school or doing whatever, we were their last hope.
You see, even with us, sorry Sis P, because even with us, they were expecting for us to be all glam and good, in property. That's why we are doing it the Ekasi way, because it's not less and clit and clan.
True.
Everything is just normal.
True.
But yes, the system decided to make it even carry, speeds and all of that. But we are doing it the Ekasi way.
Sanbonani. Welcome back to us. Kabalamu Siyabonga Makhamba from EN Property Development. This is your property talk show where we talk everything but property. On my side, Sispase Mapeseka, and today we have our beautiful guest, Sis Phatheka from Phatheka Maliphale, who's going to be telling us about conveyancing, about property transfers, noguthi, why is it not important to put ama properties wako under your name? So I'll just leave it to Sispase.
Hi, dumelang bagolo. Ke Mapeseka ona, Motswana all the way from Kotawung. But I represent EN Property Development today, and I'm excited about our podcast. Thank you so much, Siyabonga, for welcoming us, and I can't wait to introduce our guest today. Sis P, welcome. Please tell us about yourself.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Siya, and thank you, Sis Pasi, for having me today. Yes, my name is Phatheka Maliphale, Sis Pat, as everyone calls me.
Sis P.
Yes, Sis P. Sis P, as everyone calls me. Phatheka, hailing all the way from Tata. I'm coming from Eastern Cape. I'm Xhosa, 100%. And yes, I am just a girl who came to Johannesburg looking for greener pastures.
That is
That's
great.
Sis P.
So basically, like, when did you start? When did this all start? Did you study in Mthatha, or you came back to Joburg and studied? Where did all this passion start? And what is your profession, actually? Maybe let us also begin there. Yeah.
Yo, you actually touching on a very emotional story.
Yeah.
It's emotional because the journey has been long. Coming from Tata, I studied there, got my grade 12, did my National Diploma in Business Management. And though during our days, we were also doing your computer. You couldn't just have computer as part of your course.
Yeah.
So computer, you had to do it as a separate course. Did all of that. And obviously the aim was always to find a job. So in finding a job, then it proved to be very difficult to find a job. And I later then decided, you know what, Mom, I don't have a place here in Tata, so let me rather just take a bus and come to Johannesburg. And I must also mention, because I always say to my friends that I came to Joburg alone, having a
School bag, a car. Maybe.
Exactly, only one bag,
yeah.
And Nitatu City to City. At the time,
Yeah.
the famous bus was City to City. So I took City to City coming to Johannesburg because I was in my own mind, what, I need to look for a job. I had a child at the time. And obviously the family background, you would want to do things or make things better at home. But funny enough, when I go to Johannesburg, I got some odd jobs, obviously, as a secretary and all of that. And the job that I got as a permanent job was in a law firm.
That's nice.
So that's where the love developed.
That's where it all started. That's where it all started. And the lady then I worked with was a sole proprietor. So she wasn't specializing in anything. She was doing your criminal law, your family law, your property law. But out of all of that, because I think what was nice is that her husband was an estate agent. So he had an estate agency. So meaning they used to have meetings, those weekly meetings that estate agents have for reporting to check their listings and stuff. So I used then as a secretary, obviously, be part of those meetings. And then that helped me a lot in actually deciding what is it that I want to do with my life. Because at that time, I didn't know whether I want to do law or whatever. So in my mind, I just wanted to have a job and a salary and then make things better at home. But when I got there, and then the lady, the attorney asked me, Phatheka, okay, what's your plan? Exactly. What's your future plan? You know those questions when you attend an interview where someone is asking you, where do you want to see yourself in 5 years?
Exactly, yeah.
I didn't know how to respond to that question because I didn't know what is it that I want to do, because one, I didn't have money, and then two, my family background, and then three, I have a child already. So it was very difficult for me to answer that question. But when I was working with her, then I realized that, I'm falling in love with property. I'm falling in love with this ownership where everyone, because you obviously see this excitement of the seller selling the property. You see the excitement of a buyer buying a property.
The agent is excited of making a
because
sale.
they're going to get a commission.
And the lawyer, they are happy with the transfers.
So because I would say an all-rounder, because starting from the meetings with the estate agents and then coming back to the office now, where we're transferring these properties. I was a secretary, obviously, at the time. So now you could see that there is a link here between the meeting I attended with the agents, the sellers coming to sign documents, Absolutely. The buyers coming, because the conversation when clients are coming to sign, one is planning to move to a new place, one is planning to move to the new place that you just bought. So it actually sparked something in me. So then in that case, I was like, when the lady was asking me, okay, after a year being a secretary, what is it that you want to do? Then that's when I decided to register with UNISA. Then I started my LLB journey.
That's nice.
Then yes, my LLB journey has been a very long journey, I must say.
How long did it take though?
It took, because an LLB degree takes like 4 years to finish.
Okay.
But mine took 9 years.
Why though?
To finish. It took so long purely because you've got a child now to feed. You've got a family at
so you
home.
were taking breaks in between.
There were breaks in between, and
okay.
because obviously I'm also paying for my own school fees.
Okay.
So in between then you decide, okay, I'm not going to register my normal modules. 10 modules per year in order to finish on time.
With UNISA,
yes,
exactly.
It's a long distance. You are not attending classes. You are on your own, doing your own research and all of that. So then in that case, I had to obviously reduce the number of modules that took long. And I have to make sure that my mom, because obviously, our parents, once you get to Joburg and you say you're working,
they want something.
Exactly. And you can't turn away. I can't turn a blind eye on that, because you know for a fact. Exactly.
Is it the black tax?
It's a black tax. I always say that for me, in order for you to understand what black tax is, try and break it.
But I think everyone
down.
can relate with regards to the black tax.
Not everyone can, but
I think your story relates with Siyabonga, because he's also from Eastern Cape. Do you understand? So now you can imagine, and probably his parents was like, no, you're not going there. But when in your case, how was it? Especially because now you're talking about your mom. Where was dad in this whole situation?
Dad was there, I must say, but you know how dads are. Dads are not always those people that are very close to their kids. They are always in the background. So dad has always been there behind us. But issue is that dad then was in Joburg working during the Inkatha part. Then he came back, and he came back with no job because they were running away from all of those Inkatha,
Because my my grandfather was killed,
He got killed,
on
yeah.
those Inkatha fights and what.
And the winning, we were
So many
fortunate.
people.
Your mom's dead,
So many people ran away because by that time Eastern Cape was a Transkei. Ne? You actually needed a passport to come to Durban,
True,
to
to go
Johannesburg.
anywhere
It was difficult
So
outside.
to come to
basically,
Joburg.
they were treated as foreigners in such, especially Amaxhosa. So yeah, okay.
No, Shem, you know what? We were then fortunate because we obviously had him back. Not as much as he didn't have a job and all of
But he
those
was
kind of
there.
things, but
His
at least
presence was
he came
felt.
back exactly. His
That's
presence
great.
was felt, and he came back and he was part of the family again. So with all of that, then because I'm a firstborn at home,
that's
we
great.
are 5 siblings, and as a firstborn, you always obviously become the
breadwinner.
the breadwinner, the deputy parent, all of those kind of things. So that is why when it comes to black tax, I always say, try and break it down. Break it down because of the fact that sometimes it's not black tax.
I think it's the word black tax. I mean, I'm against the word
And
black
some people
tax.
don't love it, yeah.
Because it's not like our parent had trust, had generational wealth.
They didn't
Exactly.
have
So
opportunities,
when they were taking us to school or doing whatever, we were their last hope.
True.
So now it's not that they have a choice to not to ask for black tax, but they are
tried.
hungry also.
They worked hard for
And
us to go to schools,
You,
yeah.
you see.
No, that is correct. No, that is correct. And you as well, you can't turn a blind eye to your situation. So that's what was happening then with me, which took long for me to
makes
finish
sense, yeah.
my degree. I remember because I've been a secretary then in the conveyancing department through like most of my study my study journey. I've been a secretary doing property transfers in whichever ways, and during that time, I think that's what groomed me better. It gave me a better experience.
And I love that, Sis P, because currently now there is a child that is on the same situation and they feel like giving up because they are seeing their friends, okay, bona, they get monthly money from their homes to pay rent, to buy food, and then there is also this child that needs to use Abonesfa's money to support at home.
Exactly.
And so now this is good because if I'm that child, it's giving me hope.
Yeah.
Uguti, the road is gonna be long, but once you are taking this journey, it is gonna be long. Things
That's what
don't
I love
go
about
always
Mrs.
about
P.
plan.
Yeah, Uguti Yena, it took her 9 years.
9 years.
She didn't give up.
Yeah,
Only
bo.
she had that thing to say, Abanye, they finished within 4 years. Like you are saying, Uguti, they had those opportunities, Nane Kaya, they were okay. When 5th year, you were still going. 6th year until the 9th, but you made it. So well done.
Yeah, but I made it,
Congratulations.
and I must say, because I always say to people, it's not always something that I can say to people. No, it's everything is going to be fine, even if it takes you 9 years. It's not an easy 9 years. Number one, and then number two, it requires so much discipline from you. Because during the 9 years, that's when you see your peers, they are graduating.
Yeah.
Some, they are getting married. They are buying cars. They are buying houses. You are still in the same journey
One
of obtaining the
place.
degree that you registered with them at the same time. So it's really not an easy one. But all I can say as well is that people need to understand that when you need something, when you know that this is what I'm looking for, you will get it. It doesn't matter how long it takes. And then also, anything that happens around you, it won't affect you that much. It does affect you, but obviously you have to find a better way to brush it off. Because if you don't, it will affect you to an extent where you feel depressed and then you end up giving up.
Exactly.
So I must say God has always been the center of everything, because you can't do it alone. And your family members, because remember, even if, for example, you would know that your family has, money and all of that, if you are struggling at school, again, it's a different story. So you need to know how to discipline yourself. You need to know what is it that you can block, what is it that you can obviously consider as a person. Just something that you can know, this one, I'm looking at that person. And the minute I get this, I'm going to be like that person.
Yeah. So what happened then after the 9 years? You are still working, you graduated.
Who is Sis P now?
Like the real, I can remember very, but like life begins after that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Pasi, you're taking me. That's why I was saying initially that this is a very emotional journey. I remember I wrote a very long letter.
Nice.
Ne? And this letter, you must remember that now you have now completed your degree,
Yes.
and you need now to find articles. Ne? You need to serve your articles for 2 years. You need to write your board exams before you get admitted. So I wrote a very long letter, and I just sent it to a lot of attorneys to tell them about who I am and what I need. And I must say, because when I got to Krugersdorp, where I stay currently, I sent it to, obviously, the law firms here. And when they called me, they read my letter.
So it's like bo marketer in a way.
I was marketing
so the letter
for
was a
articles.
motivational letter to get employed.
To get, yes.
That is after 9 years. That's what I always say. Would say, giving up is just not an option, because the moment you're done with the 9 years, but the
Something
moment you
else.
open the door, it's another concrete door.
And also, you must remember, attorneys, they don't just take anyone for articles. So my problem was, I've been a secretary for all of that 9 years, ne? And even more. So then, when you are looking for articles, you're already a secretary, you come with experience. It's not easy for people to just, say, you are a good candidate and all of that. So I needed to tell them who I am. I needed to tell them where I want to see myself. Now, coming to that 5-year question that I could not respond to during my early days, where I was like, I don't know where I'm going to be in 5 years. Now I knew, because now I've got a degree. Now I knew that, now I want to do my articles. I want to write board exams. I want to be an attorney. So I was so fortunate, because the firm that employed me is the firm that I'm still working with now. They understood my letter. They read it to me on the day of the interview, and they were like, okay, so what is it that you can do for us?
Nice.
Then the tables changed. Now, it was not about, we're going to take you as an article clerk, be our candidate attorney. They were like, okay, what is it that you can do? Because we can see that you've got potential. There's more you can do. Sure. Then that's when they said, start a department for us.
Wow.
Then I started this department. They didn't have it at all. So I started the department for this company. And
Which department though? Is
the
it
conveyancing
one?
department.
Okay, nice.
So I started the conveyancing department with them, and we grew the department to be what it is now. So I guess that is why I'm still with them as a consultant, because I was working with them when I wanted to start PPM, and the conversations then we had, they were like, Phatheka, it will be nice for you to be still part of the team.
That's beautiful.
While you are starting your own thing. We don't have an objection in you being on your own, because we do see the potential.
Shows the potential and the power of what you do.
Exactly. So they were like, no, still be our consultant. And I must say the relationship is a very good relationship.
That's great.
Because again, the clients that we deal with are different clients. So it's really now been a beautiful journey, I must say, because then they got me to start the department. I then did my articles for 2 years. I write my board exams. I write conveyancing, because obviously now you have been a conveyancing secretary. Now you have to be a conveyancer.
To be admitted
And then you need to be, again, I added now becoming a notary. So I got admitted then as an attorney. I got admitted as a conveyancer. I got admitted as a notary in the High Court. And it's really been a very great journey. because God showed me that in whatever it is that you do, if you put me as a center of everything you do, I will make things possible for you.
Absolutely.
And for now, for example, now coming to your question, who am I now?
Yeah.
You know, when I started PPM, I started PPM with no loan, with no investments, with nothing. Because
no
now,
inheritance as well.
no inheritance,
Yeah.
no trust fund,
Nothing.
nothing. So when I started then, it was a thing of, you know what, Phatheka, you've got this thing and you would want, because I think that's what resulted in what I'm doing now. It's because in me, I always feel like we have this community, the community I left back home that didn't know anything about wealth creation, this community that knows nothing about asset protection, this community that knows nothing about, you know,
Even getting a
ownership.
lawyer, for an
Exactly.
example.
The community that doesn't have funds to access
Yeah.
these lawyers, ne? So then you sit down and you would want to assist where you can, ne? So when I started then, I was like, you know what, God, if only then, because I think I was fortunate because my firstborn at least is now working. I was like, Madam, you're gonna help me now to take care of my household while I'm navigating this journey. Give me 3 months. After 3 months, we're gonna have a discussion, and we did that. She helped me a lot in that 3 months period, and when I started then, I started with this thing in the back of my mind that I have a community to serve.
We need to assist and
I have a
give
community
back.
to serve, and I need to be accessible to this community. So being accessible then means that this community, most of them, they don't have means to access, you know, the system. So you need to provide the means for them to access. That's when then you see me when I talk about property and the passion I have about ownership structures, because now I have seen it was such a sad thing. Last year when I was doing World's Week, I was based in Soweto as part of the Johannesburg Attorneys Association. And I think the saddest thing there was the fact that we have our people that have these properties. They want to leave wills for these properties that they do not own.
But they don't have information.
No.
I think that's why we can relate, Sis P. You and us at the EN Property Development. It's like we always think about our communities, where we come from, because there's a lot of gaps, like you were saying, you understand?
There is a lot.
And it's a calling. We would say, you know what, you're from the disadvantaged community, and now when you come to Joburg, you have on, we say, like, still there's a lot. So I think that's what we also, that's also our mission, Ekasi Noble Properties, to say, you know what, it's all about the people. Because once it's Siyabonga like this, you teaching them, assisting them to have wills, to have trust, you are growing the community in a way. So I think that's why we
you're
relate.
growing the community,
Yeah.
and you know, bringing this awareness to the community.
Sure.
By the way, I was reading the back of your T-shirt. You were saying
Woza Makelwane.
Woza Makelwane. I
Exactly.
loved that because I was
Exactly.
like, you know, some people, they always think that it's all claims and claims, and honestly speaking, when you're in the service industry, it's not like that.
Exactly.
So
That's where
in the
you see, even
yes.
with us, sorry, Sis P, because even with us, they were expecting for us to be all glam and good, you know, in property. That's why now we are doing it the Ekasi way, because it's not glitz and glam.
True.
Everything is just normal.
True.
But yes, the system decided to make it even carry, you know, speed and all of that. But we are doing it the Ekasi way, as much as it people feel like it's difficult or it's different. Can't it's
So-
the
People-
same. It's
I
the
think
same.
I think it's understanding the community.
Yeah, where we
It's
come
also
from.
understanding that why are you in this journey?
Yeah.
Because for one, Ekasi Nobel property so good, people are blacklisted.
Yes.
And then when you sit down with this person, why are you blacklisted? I don't know even now why I'm blacklisted. I got in an SMS when I was in varsity saying I qualify for clothes. I went to go, took the clothes,
Open the account.
and then opened the accounts, and then I didn't pay the accounts because I was not working. And then 10 years later, when I take a bond, but go back there. And it's difficult to clear your name once you are blacklisted. So being blacklisted is like you are dead in the system because you can't buy a house, you can't buy a car.
And also the waiting periods for you to come back to
Also,
the system.
I think it's the disadvantage that CSP is talking about.
But
So
now,
we see the gap.
if we had people that are gonna teach us, so it's okay, this is what you do when you need to protect your credit score. This is how wills have to be done.
Exactly.
There is no education. That's why I always said our job, we have made a promise to we're not just going to give them land or properties. We need to teach them.
Exactly.
That's why we always bring SSP to come and teach us, because in our community, we want everything to be under our name. It's a
and I must say, you know, when you own something under your name,
it's nice.
Very much.
It's a good
so.
feeling. Yeah.
It gives you such a good feeling, and you feel like, you know what, I can show people that this is mine. You know, it's nice, but when you look at it. And I guess for me also is the experience from the office that, you know, when people are trying to inherit these assets. For example, in my office now, when I do your estate, I advise you that, okay, I'm winding up your estate. Remember, I charge you a fee to report, and I'm charging you a fee to wind up, and I'm charging you a third fee to transfer the asset. Then why do you want to repeat the same thing?
Exactly, for the next person.
Exactly.
So
the surviving spouse, I've done it for 2 now, and I'm waiting for the other one to agree with me, because obviously I can't force them, but I have to try and enlighten stuff to them so that they can understand. So I've done it for 2 of them, whereby I'm like, you are a surviving spouse, you are not getting younger, you are getting old. Then it means that once now you take this property to be yours from your husband, it means that your children, they will do the same thing that I'm currently doing. And now remember, this property won't be worth this million now. At your time of death, the property will be worth 2 million.
Yeah.
Why do you want to repeat the same thing? Because I'm still going to charge you, but now I'm going to charge you more. Because remember, the reporting of the estate fee and the winding up is 3% of the value of the gross value of the estate. So again, it doesn't help. So they have agreed with me, the first ones. What we did, we registered a trust, and then we obviously now let them to inherit the asset and then simultaneously transfer it to their trust. Now giving what? Their children a peace of mind.
Exactly.
Because now they know if mom is no more, they don't need to repeat the same thing.
SSP, we see these things. Like last time I was speaking to my sister, the friend in Riagubo Early was simply because of the transfer fees. They can't pay all these costs that you just mentioned now. And then when you move to, they think good to know SSP wari ropa, ari oyako Van Wyk or Stasis or whatever to get the better cost, only to find out it's more than what SSP could have charged. And when you did tell them to say, if they keep on transferring to the next person, it's gonna obviously
it's gonna cost them so much, and it's sad because Abantu Betu, they don't understand these things. So exactly, so that is why then we have to try by all means with whatever channel that we have, where we have to try and educate them and tell them that, guys, gone are the days where we trust much upon wills. Now we have seen. I had Ubabum Dala who was in the office and he was a little sickly, and I asked him, "Do you have a will?" And his answer was like, "No, I'm sorted, Phatheka." I was like, "Oh, okay, no, it's fine, Baba, if you say so." But guess what? A year later, then a certain company calls me. It's not a law firm, it's a company, I think, that wind up the estates. And they called me and they said, "Phatheka, do you have a will of Mr. What?
It's not there.
It's not there. And you know what happened is that I know the reason why he was in the office is because there was no relationship between him and his son. So now what will happen is that the son maybe was the first to be in the house, and then the son found the will, realized that he's not in the will, and destroyed the will. So now those are the sad stories that we come across in our offices, because then you think that, Baba, if you are great, that I can help you, I would have kept this will with
could
me,
have helped the family
and I
a
could have
lot.
helped you. But remember also, because what I've realized on social media, I want to mention this, because social media also doesn't give you a better context when it comes to these things. So I know that some, they say don't have wills with attorneys, some they say don't have wills with banks. I say, even if you go to the bank or go to an attorney to have your will, don't allow the attorney or the bank to be the only executor. Then allow them to be the co-executors with whoever that you trust in the family, so that that person can be part of the decision making, especially in terms of appointing an executor. That's where most of the issues are. I agree. I've done supervision of winding up of estates by the banks, like 3 of the major 4 banks. And I must say it's very frustrating, because they are not an attorney firm. They are a bank that appoints attorneys to wind up these estates. And our people, they don't even know these companies.
It's a lot,
you know,
Sis, it's a
exactly.
lot.
And now you go to an estate that is going to be wind up by someone you have never seen. This
never
attorney
spoken
doesn't
to.
care about you. The attorney received the instruction from the bank. They report to the bank. So that is why then we get appointed to oversee that process, because of the frustration that our people
It's a
have.
lot. That's why you find, sorry, Sia, that's why you find easily they get repossessed by the register through the...
Because they don't even come forward to bring solutions for you
Because the
when
cars
there
will
is
wanna
that
the
problem.
house is
Exactly.
not for sale and what.
And it starts very from Lapo. I think that's why we're having this podcast, you know?
And coming to the most boiling and exciting question to the community, you have been part of Ekasi Noble Properties, that is EN Property Development. What made you risk it all? Because
That was my question.
what we
That
are
was my
doing,
burning question. See, how did you...
it's more of not in the book. I mean, trying to give people who are giving people who are blacklisted an opportunity to own a home in South Africa without having to use the major banks, but trying to assist it is a risk.
That was my
Because
burning
one,
question.
where we are currently at,
Yeah.
Boguiskanga, people just putting their monies into your trust, Where aren't you afraid? One day I'll wake up these people, but can we have our money? We wanna skip the country.
Yeah.
But now we are 3 to 4 years later, having more developments coming in, getting more trust to the public. I mean, I always tell people that we have lost many attorneys because they didn't understand what we wanted to do. There was one big law firm that I won't mention. The guy told, no, shut your books down,
It's not gonna
close
work.
whatever you are doing. It's not gonna work because it's not part of the book that was written how property has to work.
Before CSP answers, sorry, Ne, how many years of experience do you have in the field before you came, or before we approached you, before you answer Sia's question? Because I wanted to build up. Yeah, but it must not sound like we just came to you after your secretary job, all these years, and then, no. What's the experience before that, and then when we approached you?
Hey, guys, ne? Yeah. Firstly, at the time when we were meeting, because remember I mentioned that I was a secretary for since when I started with UNISA, registering for my LLB, and I was fortunate to be in the conveyancing department. And being in the conveyancing department, also I moved from the firm where I started and go to a firm in Shenzhen. And then there, I started doing bonds. I started doing bond cancellations. I started dealing with sales in execution, and I started to understand how the banks, in terms of their ownership, because there's property in possession and there's sales in execution.
Especially with the 9 years experience, no one gets that, and to be where all of these things are happening.
So then, while I was there, remember I was still a secretary, right? Then when I came here and I started my articles, because I met you guys in
22, 21.
2021. That was before the start of PPM. It was 2021. So at the time, I was already an attorney. I was already a secretary. I was already a conveyancer, an attorney, a conveyancer, and a notary. So at the time when we met, so obviously I had, because I got admitted in 2015 as an attorney, and 2016 as a conveyancer, and 2018 as a notary. So when we met, I already had over 5 years experience as now practicing as a conveyancer, not as a secretary.
Yeah.
Obviously now being in the industry, it's more than 10 years.
Yeah.
Ne? And I must say, coming to your burning question now, that, when we met, firstly, we met because you wanted a trust. Ne?
Oh, yes.
You wanted to register a trust. I remember because it was raining when you came and you were signing documents because you needed a trust to be registered quick. I remember we signed the documents in the car because you were rushing somewhere.
There by your officers, yeah.
Yes. So when we met and I asked you when you were like, okay, Suspect, you know what, we want to see you, we want to discuss something with you. And you explained, that this is now what we want to do. This is our formula that we use and we see as working towards our community. Yes. And at first, I must be honest, I had how?
Who are these people?
Exactly. And I must say, for me, I always like someone who is humbled, one, and then two, I always like someone who knows what he's doing. Nice. Those two things for me, they made me to see that, there's value in what you guys are doing. Not as much as the community has in sin. It's because you came to me as humble, because you must remember we meet clients that are very arrogant, especially if they are in a certain level where, because when I grew up knowing that when you are called a director, you are like this big person. And I realized later, there is no big person in being a director. Actually, there's so much responsibility you have as a director. So when you came to me as humbled to understand, Suspect, this is what we are trying to do, and we would love you to understand what we are trying to do and to work with us. At that time, then I had to sit back and understand, okay, yes, I can see them. They are not these people that are telling themselves that we are directors in their heads. So they are coming because they want to more upon whatever it is that they are trying to do. And then I sat down and I'm like, okay, so what is this model? And when I realized that actually this is the model for our community, that's when then the link started.
Then related. Yeah.
Exactly. Because then I realized that the setup, that's why I always say to people, because I have a head, that is why I was laughing about this question. A lot of people asking me that, how are you associated with them?
Yes.
Because I think in their minds, they're thinking maybe we knew each other before and we didn't. You came at first as clients, and it ended up not being a client relationship anymore because of how you approach me and also how you conducted yourselves. That is why I was like, I wish everyone could understand what you guys are trying to do. Because a lot of people, they do not, even now, they still ask me questions. And that is why I was saying on the last time we had the workshop that we have a 30 minutes free Zoom meeting for discussion. so we can understand each other. And then whoever then is coming forward to say, okay, I want now to buy from those developments and I want to be part of the first 50 group. What is it that I have to do? I invite you then so we can have a conversation, because firstly, I want you to understand what is it that you are trying to join. Because again, it's important for me for you to join something that you yourself understand the risk associated with it, understand the formula that is being used, because a lot of people are misinformed and a lot of people do not understand what is it that you guys are trying to do. To be honest, when I had the first meeting, by the way, the first group is completed. Number 2, the trust is appointed. Number 4, the trust is registered and the letter of authority has been issued.
And the properties are standing.
And the properties,
We're
in one of the properties.
This is the property. When I had the first meeting with the trustees, I said to them, guys, do you understand what you are in here? Like, do you understand what is it? We drafted portfolios because they were excited, because I guess they didn't understand it first.
Some of them,
but they were so excited. Yes, I'm appointed as an independent trustee, and my role is purely an independent trustee. I'm not affiliated to them as their beneficiaries, as the trustees, as the founders. I'm not affiliated, but my role is to make sure that things are done legally, and that there's a separation, because people always think that you own an asset in an entity but you still have control. You don't have much control. You lose the control, because the aim here is estate planning. Is not you thinking that you can, point it out and say it's mine.
Planning for the next 150
But
year
you
future.
can still say, I'm part of it. I own part of those properties.
I am
They are
part
mine.
of. Yes, you can. I am part of this whole group so that I can help them to understand that, because that's the part that I would love them to understand that. Yes, you are part of the group. I don't think they know, because when we're having our first meeting, they're like, "Sis Pets, so now what do we do? Now where do we go?" And I'm like, guys, we need to sit down. We need to sit.
I always tell them, Tina, we are risking our lives for young and because
it's true.
When it comes to us, the black community, land means everything to us. We have clients about to see, I'm putting my last money here. So make sure this works out. So Tina, we have put in our life on the bed, but we are enjoying what we are doing. And there is much more, CSP, to learn from you. We would love you to have you also on our next episode.
I'm sure,
now, boiler asking yourselves questions.
I think
and
so,
then we'll definitely do a catch-up episode with CSP from PP Maliphale. Make sure you get in touch now, especially for your estate planning, guys. It is very, very important. Let us not repeat the mistake that our parents did, our great-great-parents did. You know, those rich families, those guys have a 200-year plan. They know abantwana, when they have been born, this is the route that they need to take because of this estate planning. Thank you very much, Siyabonga SSP. Thank you for your time. Thank you very much for your time.
Details, those SSP. Like when people want to get hold of you, like we will just obviously put the numbers out there.
Thank you so much. Yes, people can get hold of us through the office. Our office is at Constantia Office Park in Rudaport, there by Veltefreden Park, 14th Avenue, William Nicole, there. And then, yes, you can contact us on 011-568-0492. And you can, there is a WhatsApp number, I can't remember now the
but as long
number.
as they got the landline.
PPM,
Yes,
maybe the
it's
full name of the company.
The
they
full
can
name of
Google
the
that.
company is PP Maliphale Incorporated, and you can check us on TikTok, you can check us on Facebook, you can check us on Instagram, and then also you can check our website. You will obviously get the WhatsApp number there where you can send us a WhatsApp, and then will respond and arrange. And then also, we are a firm that love conversations. I always say to people, I love
Yeah,
conversations
that's true.
because I need to know who you are. I need to know your journey. I need to know,
understand
so that I can be able to advise you
And that
proper.
question of where do you see yourself in 5 years' time?
Yes.
Otherwise, thank you so
Thank
much.
you very much,
Sis P.
SP. Thank you. Make sure if you are sitting at home,
Yeah.
subscribe to the channel,
Yeah.
a property talk show where we are talking anything but property, making sure we are creating this generational wealth.
Yep.
And being in the property, our main game is to bring all the property gurus to
Yes.
come and share this information. I mean, now, Lena, it's a free consultation to y'all coming
It is,
with
eh?
us. Thank you very
so
much, SP. Thank you for your
Bye.
time.
So much.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.